Nowadays, many women really don't want to date anymore. A major reason is that some men are not only boring but also emotionally unstable and arrogant. They also like to belittle others in a sarcastic way. What's worse, some of them don't even behave like normal people. That's why many women would rather stay single than be in a relationship. It's not just my opinion, it's the reality.
Have you noticed that good men stay single, while bad men get married? So, relationships aren't built on love, but on mischief. In real life, many women say they don't like bad guys. But in the end, you'll see those same women end up with them. If you don't believe it, just watch. Many women really like bad boys because they provide a different kind of thrill. Bad boys are irresponsible but extremely stimulating. They can simultaneously deceive and exploit women while also meeting all the demands women make, which drives them into a crazy obsession. Why can bad boys be so successful? Because they are temporary. Bad boys are attractive in the short term, so from the very beginning, they are just deceiving. In such an exaggerated and boundaryless relationship model, women feel the excitement, while those who are sincere and treat them well seem dull. When many long-term relationships fail, it directly pulls emotions into a calm and rational state. However, women don't care about this. Calmness is the true reality. They quickly enter this state and feel that everything has collapsed. You might wonder why. An older woman, even if she finds an honest man willing to settle down, will still remain dissatisfied. The fundamental reason is that she cannot help but reminisce about the bad boys from her past. The reason is that even if a bad boy spends only 250 yuan, the thrill he brings is far more intense than what any honest man, spending 2.5 million, could offer. Regardless of whether the man has money or not, the moment an honest man appears, he has already lost from the start because the excitement brought by a bad boy is much more powerful.
Beautiful women don't like good men, because good men will lead them, will teach them, will make them better. And that's a kind of pain. But bad boys are not like that. They just hit the gas all the way, not caring about the physical and emotional turmoil they cause the women they meet. Do you understand? They only care about this. And then they only care about borrowing money, only about plundering, only about fooling you, only about deceiving women. This repetitive push and pull, this continuous abuse. Some people think this is what dating is. So young women give themselves to these bad boys one after another. Many beautiful women end up with serious emotional problems, being used in very foolish ways. Some women think these bad boys will get them pregnant. But honest men, rich men, they wouldn't dare to act like that. The bad boys don't care. If they get pregnant, they get pregnant. And if they need to get rid of it, that's just how it is. This is the mindset of bad boys. They cause severe harm to women. And women think that this is normal, that normal men treat them well. But they see that as nonsense. This is the consequence of women not being able to identify bad boys. The perception of this society is a profound knowledge. Most people don't possess it. Even if you're a rich kid, even if you're a founder of a new generation, even if you have billions, not understanding these things is very normal. Many people think they understand, but they don't know anything. To grasp this, you need insight. You need learning. You need analysis. Many women lack this intelligence. The intelligence of many women is lower than that of men. And many women don't accept that. Right? Because men experience much more hardship in society than women. Because when men start out without any ability, no women love them. Women are different. Usually, they have someone who loves them. But in reality, that's not love. When women are naive, they only meet exploiters, who take advantage of their bodies, who take advantage of their youth. Many women go through their entire lives not understanding this principle. They never truly loved a good man. They repeatedly fall for bad boys. Understand?
Why don't women like good guys and instead prefer bad boys? This is the most common question I receive in my messages. Now, If you consider yourself a good guy, let me ask you a few questions. Do you think you are loyal in relationships? Do you feel that you are very responsible and emotionally committed? Do you believe you are caring and considerate? But women just don't seem to notice these qualities, and for some reason, they prefer men who are more charming and communicative. You might think that your loyalty and responsibility set you apart from bad boys, believing the issue lies in the fact that you are responsible while they are not. But even with this mindset, many women still won't choose you. First, is your loyalty and responsibility truly genuine? Many women say that some men appear to be good guys at first, but as they get closer, they find someone who is authoritarian and has a bad temper. It's as if these men act like good guys in front of others, but with them, they show a completely different side. In reality, what you see as loyalty and responsibility might actually come across as controlling and stubborn. You think being dedicated means being inflexible, expecting women to automatically recognize and appreciate your qualities. The real difference between a good guy and a bad boy is that the former doesn't bother to truly understand or please the woman. He simply prides himself on his loyalty and responsibility, assuming that's enough to be chosen. Meanwhile, the bad boy makes an effort to understand and attract the woman, something many good guys refuse to do. In the end, the bad boy knows what makes a woman feel appreciated, while the good guy insists on showing off his dedication and responsibility. Deep down, the good guy also wants to understand and connect with the woman, but he just can't seem to do it. This is when many good guys begin to resent women and criticize other men who don't behave like them. They start seeing everyone as an enemy, believing that because they are good, they should naturally be chosen. And when they aren't, they assume the problem lies with others, not themselves. This attitude reveals selfishness. If you were truly responsible and committed, you wouldn't need to announce it to be recognized. Expecting others to understand and value your qualities without trying to understand their needs is a mistake. Human nature has a tendency. We always seek to be understood, but we rarely try to understand others. We want to be noticed, but we don't make the effort to connect with others. When you think you're being responsible, you may just be falling into this trap of human nature. If you can shift your mindset and genuinely try to understand others, you will quickly gain their affection. The truth is that all of us want to be understood. Many women don't like good guys because these men don't make an effort to understand them. They also want to be understood, but that desire ends up distorting their relationships. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this?
Let me tell you, the thing that women hate the most is that man who is too good to them. If you really want to win a girl over, then don't be too good to her. To women, pleasing is like bowing down. I'll tell you a very effective method to win over a woman, but it's a bit cruel. If you still think sincerity is the key, I advise you to leave this conversation right now. Let me tell you a cruel truth. No matter how amazing or rich you are, if you give too much in this relationship and are willing to do anything for the woman you like, she will not treat you well. So I tell everyone, 80% of women in a relationship do not need you to be good to them. What they desire is for you to awaken their desire for conquest, and that's it. Got it? Maybe some guys will want to contest this. Oh, but you women always say you want a man who treats you well, and now you say you don't need that. Isn't it funny? But what is the true meaning of that? They want to find a man who maybe isn't that interested in them, someone they can't have. Understand? If a woman likes you, it doesn't depend on how good you are to her, but on how good you are as a person. So the more you try to please her, the more she ignores you. You keep her interested, but she becomes more and more distant, right? You will notice that most of the time, the better you treat her, the cheaper she sees you. But if you are a bit distant, it makes her want you even more. So if you want to win over a woman, you need to learn to value who you are. Your value does not depend on you, but on how much she invests in you. Understand? Thus, if you want her to keep liking you, you need to guide her, making her invest time, energy, and even her body. That's how human nature works. The more someone invests, the more they value it. I've said before that knowing how to pull and push is a basic skill for talking to women, right? For example, sometimes your caring can make her think you like her a lot. In that case, it's better to pull back, not respond to her messages, and let her wait a little. This makes her feel like you might not like her that much, creating a cycle of uncertainty about what you really feel, right?
Us girls, we like bad men. I don't know if you've seen those street interviews. For example, if you ask your friends, they will respond the same way. I like men who treat me well. Good men who love me. But is it really like that? If they really liked good men, then they shouldn't say sorry when rejecting you. As if they're giving you a good guy card, right? And then they give you that good guy card. And the most annoying thing is that they immediately run to the arms of a jerk, getting hurt and left in pieces. Girls, they really like jerks. Just like that famous dish of stinky tofu and snail noodles, right? It's stinky. But it's not that you're just passing by. It's like someone brings it right to you. You know it's stinky. But when you eat it, you end up forgetting that it's stinky. The same goes for these bad men. They can give girls the feeling that they can satisfy all their fantasies about love. We can observe this clearly. Bad men, firstly, are detail-oriented. They pay attention to details. Secondly, they are bold, not afraid of failure. When they notice that a girl is in a good mood, they have the courage to do things that she hasn't allowed, like suddenly holding her hand, hugging her, teasing her, playing with her, or trying to annoy her. Right? And we girls really love that kind of thrill. Behind that thrill, you could say there's a sweetness. You know? So what Xian wants to say is that everyone's nature is like the two sides of a coin. The better the girl, the more easily she is attracted to bad men, because the good girl suppresses her bad side. She feels she has to behave, so she becomes irresistibly attracted to those men who dare to break the rules and cross boundaries, sparking an extremely strong interest in her.
Knowing that the other person has many flaws is terrible and even exhibits serious behaviors like alcoholism or violence, and still choosing to stay with them is complex. Even when aware that you are hurting in this relationship, when everyone around you says to leave, you find 1,000 excuses, such as he really loves me or he is wonderful in other areas. You might think he has changed a lot since you've been together. Regardless of the difficulties you face in the relationship, you don't easily walk away. Why? Because you see yourself as a savior, someone who wants to pull him out of the abyss. You convince yourself that the blame for the problems lies with you. For example, if he cheats, you think it's because you pressured him too much. If he becomes aggressive, you believe it's because you didn't do enough. When others criticize your partner, you even go so far as to lie for him. There's an emotional blindness, and from the outside, it seems like you're completely absorbed, being the head in the clouds type of love that hurts you. Even if he mistreats you repeatedly, you feel that you can't distance yourself. It's as if you're trapped in a relationship that is already somewhat dysfunctional. Why can't you detach? Because you fear being abandoned and can't accept that feeling of powerlessness. The lack of self-worth makes you seek your value by trying to save the other. The fear of abandonment leads you to make constant sacrifices to maintain this relationship. In reality, you don't need to change for the other person. You are not less for not being abandoned. You don't need to act this way. What really happens is that through this relationship, you are trying to save yourself. Why is it that the better a man treats a woman, the less she appreciates him? Why, even when you treat her wholeheartedly, does she still not care about you? The truth is harsh. Many people, especially women, lack the life experience and knowledge to understand how precious sincere love is. They unconsciously feel that something easy to obtain doesn't need to be cherished. Also, because you are too sincere and soft-hearted, she thinks that even if she hurts you, it doesn't matter, you'll heal on your own. To be honest, marriage isn't always about sincerity being met with sincerity.
You won't like good men because they won't guide you, teach you, or make you live better than E, and that can be painful. Bad men, on the other hand, don't have that concern. They speed ahead without thinking, focusing only on turning your life into complete chaos. For them, what matters is asking for money, exploiting, and manipulating. That's why many women see this as a form of compassion, ultimately giving their youth to these men. One after another, many women become emotionally affected, facing mental issues and acting foolishly, even getting pregnant by these men. While serious men are hesitant to act this way, bad men don't care. If a pregnancy happens, they simply deal with it later. This is their reasoning, which causes serious harm, leading women to believe this is love. When an ordinary man shows kindness, they consider him irrelevant. This is why many women cannot identify bad men. Human intelligence has its limits, and the perception of the world is something most people lack. Even if you come from a wealthy family or are the first generation of rich people, even with billions in assets, it's normal not to understand these issues. Many people think they comprehend, but in reality, they do not. Understanding these dynamics requires learning and analysis. Many women lack this intelligence. Generally, their intelligence is lower than men's. This can lead to discontent as men face much greater hardships. Meanwhile, women are often treated well from the start, receiving love, which is actually a form of exploitation. In this context, love becomes a form of exploitation, not just protection. Unfortunately, many women go through life without understanding this reality. So what do you think? Why are women, not just in China but around the world, so contradictory in their choices? They talk about wanting a respectful and educated man, but they end up falling for those who treat them poorly. What do you think is behind this? Leave your opinions in the comments. Let's explore this together. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.